My advice might depend on, you know, their background and their age. If they're young and like out of high school thinking they want to do it, I would say go get a job in a cabinet shop or a wood shop, something like that, something that's going to get you comfortable with tools, A, and then B, something that's going to pay the bills for when the lean times come, because they're going to come, and you don't need to, but it would be smart to have, you know, a skill that you can fall back on to pay the bills rather than scrambling to try to find, you know, it's easier to pay the bills if you've got something a hustle. So I would say, yeah, work in a cabinet shop, construction, something like that, or go work for a guitar company or another luthier. But those gigs are harder to get, and if you're hurting making guitars, chances are they are too. So I think the cabinet shop is a good fallback. 200 to 300 hours. I'm not somebody that tracks it super closely. Like the way my motivation works is like a productive procrastination. Like there's some certain parts of the guitar building process that I enjoy more than others, and that shifts. So like I tend to avoid certain things by like making progress on another instrument for something that I like. So I have like a few guitars going at once at all times, and just kind of like do whatever is getting me fired up to be in the shop at that moment. Right, I guess last night I'm working on I had an order for a 5-string short scale, a multi-scale 5-string short scale bass, archtop bass with a high C instead of a low B a while back that fell through. So I kind of, that popped into my head. I'm reupholstering a case right now, so that as I was doing that, it popped into my head. I was like, I wonder if that thing would fit in this case. So last night I spent a little time doing some design work on that, and I'm kind of fired up on it. That, and then I'm working on my Fugue model is a multi-scale acoustic archtop, and up until now I've always done floating pickups. So last night I spent some time taking apart some humbuckers to try to see if I could shift the bobbins over. To me, it's important on a multi-scale instrument. It's important to have the pickup angled, so that the pull pieces land like in along the same proportion along the scale length. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So I was trying to figure out how I could slightly modify a stock pickup to get it on an angle and get everything to make it a parallelogram and get it to fit in there. So I think that's what's in the future, is pickups in the top and possibly short scale 5-string bass. A lot of it's been trial and error, just over multiple instruments. Like one of the things I'm trying to do is to get the box resonance in between scale tones. So I don't want the frequency of the box to be right on a note, and the way to control that, you know, I've tried all sorts of stuff, and I thought I had it figured out, and then this model kind of drove home to me that I didn't know what I was doing. So like now kind of my thoughts on it is the way to control that is the depth of the sides and the size of the holes. So that and with my other instruments, I've built enough of them to where I've just kind of dialed that in over time. Whereas this one, I'm still kind of dialing it. But then, so that's like the broad strokes voicing. So then also is like how you carve the braces before the box gets closed. That's part of it. Is like Tom taught me that there's a bass and a treble side of the soundboard. So part of it's just making sure that the treble side rings higher, which means it's stiffer, and then the bass side is a little lower, which means it was more flexible. So then that's just kind of like a tapping and listening thing. And then once the box is closed and strings, I'll get strings on. And this is all just stuff I learned from Tom. I take notes and I track all this stuff, but I'm not somebody who's like plugging it into a computer program. It's just like that one went well, what did I do on that one kind of thing. So then the final voicing is strings on before there's any finish on it, and then we'll scrape, take a scraper and remove material from the perimeter here, just to to make it more compliant, more flexible. And that's just kind of like, that's not doing any major changes. That's kind of just changing the texture of the note, the sparkle, kind of the air around the note, whatever. However, it's all kind of subjective terminology, but my binding and purfling scheme is kind of pretty well defined. But this is kind of going to become my mid tier, as in I'm going to have like the WRX, I don't know what to call it yet, but a model that has all like the technology, so like the sound is there, but in terms of the trim package, it's just single black binding, unbound fingerboard, unbound headstock. So like just some of the decorative stuff is a little less involved. And then on the other side of things, I for the first time did wood binding on everything, which I've avoided for a long time because I've got like this arm bevel built into the carpet top. There's some complicated geometry happening, and you know, things have to bend in multiple directions that I just wasn't ready to tackle. But I've tackled it and it was successful, so now I'm going to have kind of like 3 tiers, and hopefully that'll make some of my instruments a little bit more accessible, even though I know they're not.